All right, so I've had a few people ask me for quite some time now. They want to see the slasher. If you guys are new to the channel and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, ring my bell, get my notifications. Throw me a thumbs up and leave a question or comment below so that way I know who you are. This, I believe, is a 1967 Mack. I know for a fact it's an R600 model. It's got inline 6-cylinder diesel. I'd be lying if I knew what displacement it was. I'm sure there's folks that are going to jump on here and tell me right away, and I'd appreciate that. I mean, if I got to looking into it, I'm sure I could figure it out. Climb up in the cab here. The cab itself is not terrible. The doors aren't the best. That one's got Bondo on it, but a little rust there on the bottom. The cab is not terrible on it. You can see seats inside aren't the best. Probably brings back memories for a lot of folks. The glass in this thing is actually immaculate. Every piece of glass is still here, including the mirrors, which is amazing. The old steering wheel's getting the sun cracks in it. Some other treasures in here. Look at, we got screwdrivers and tools and all that stuff. The old patent numbers, ID tag. The clutch is pretty well out of this truck. It will pull itself on flat ground, barely. If you get into the throttle at all, it'll start slipping. The slasher unit itself is Detroit powered. It's a 353 Detroit on that as well. It does need the power unit needs a starter. God, can't talk today. Needs a starter. I got the starter in the garage. I just need to tear it apart and rebuild it. But it does run. Runs pretty well. It runs reverse of the skidder though. Runs in the opposite direction. Which isn't a huge deal, but so you can't swap starters and all that stuff because they're opposite drive. The slasher unit itself, it used to have a badge right there, but it's gone, so I can't speak for the brand of the slasher unit itself. Maybe it says on the arm up here. No, I don't think so. No, it doesn't say on the arm. But the bearing right here on the bottom, that bearing's out. You see the rollers there. I got a new gear for the bottom because the gear is welded on. So we can cut the gear off, take the strap off, release the pressure, get the bearing out of there. See if I can source a new one. Obviously I got to pull all the hoses and all that stuff up. All the hoses got to come up through that house or down through that house, depending on which side they're connected on, or how close the connection is, I should say. The slasher unit itself is a Zero slasher unit in pretty decent shape. I think that's a 48-inch saw. I may be wrong. Buckboard on it. Hydraulic cylinders actually on the Haybine at the moment. And if anybody's wondering, you can swap the hydraulic cylinder from the buckboard on your slasher to the lift mechanism on your Haybine on a 492 New Holland. Does work. In a pinch on a Sunday afternoon. I did rebuild the other one, but I just haven't swapped it back out. I could just put it on this one. It wouldn't matter. I rebuilt it, put it in the shed, and because there's no sense in putting it back on this, just sit out in the weather. So I climb up here, see if I can get the slasher door open. Oh, come on. Hang on. Hang on. Let's see if I can fall down here. There we go. Okay. So we got the little operator seat up in there. All those one-way valve banks. No joysticks in this thing. Foot pedal swing. She's kind of sweet. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I like how Bob put the rubber mat in there to deflect the hydraulic oil from dripping on you. Sweet. You don't need to fix the fucking hydraulic leaks. This thing is falling. Okay, let's see if we can shut the door again. Hang on. There we go. So I do need to do a bunch of work on this. I'm just undecided whether I'm going to keep the Mack chassis. I haven't looked into sourcing clutch and that kind of parts yet. I don't know if I'm keeping the Mack chassis or if I'm going to try to find a cab chassis to put underneath it. Front end's pretty well beat up. If I could find the parts cheap enough, I probably would. Then I got to put tires on it. Tires on this thing are a huge expense. Chances are you can find a whole cab chassis for less than what it would cost to fix this one up. But it is a pretty cool old unit. And chances are I would have to do something with that cab. Being that the cab is intact like it is, it'd probably make a pretty sweet old rat rod or something like that. So, there you go, guys. 1967 Mack R600 slasher unit. At some point, that slasher will be resurrected. It's just a matter of in what capacity. And no, it will not fit in my shop, so I got to do that one outside. Will fit in the pole barn, though. If you guys like the videos we're throwing at you, throw us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, take a moment to do so. I certainly hope everyone's having a great weekend. Weather's beautiful in this area. I hope it is in yours. See you guys again next time.